Shalom, shalom, Israel, Shabbat, shalom. Hope all Israel is doing good out there. I'm your host, Officer Eisen. And we're going to be bringing another read along series to y'all today. First, I want to say to our brothers and sisters out there, all Israel scattered abroad, Shabbat, shalom. Hope everybody enjoyed the memorial blowing of trumpets. We also have the Day of Atonement coming up on I want to say the 12th. All right. So I want to say to the background. That's all right. Let me see if I can change this background right quick, y'all. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. This is live, so let me get a minute to fix this. Mm, Let me just throw something back there. Hopefully it works. All right, the background should be changed. Usually I'll put the thumbnail of the read along series up there just for time's sake. I'm just gonna throw that background up in the background instead of having like the uh the manufacturer's background in the background. So that's what we're gonna do. Did it work? Did it work? Okay. All right, y'all. So like I was saying before, I hope all Israel out there scattered abroad had a great memorial blowing of trumpets. Like I said before, we have also the Day of Atonement coming up. We're going to be going over that, Lord willing, and we're going to be stressing the importance of the Day of Atonement, which signifies us one fasting on that day and afflicting our souls. When we say afflicting our souls, that means fasting and praying for all things that you may battle with in the flesh, and also praying and fasting about everything that you're trying to overcome and all the things that you hope the Lord to bless you with also, because the Day of Atonement is not only for your afflictions, but it's also for you to have to pray for those things that are needful for you, and also that you hope that the Lord can give you. Of course, spiritual things like the fruits of the Spirit and things that can be a benefit to you. So that's a day that we go into reflection mode, and that's a day also, we like to stress the importance of fasting and praying, but also the Lord gave us a high holy day that goes into that thing that is very important for, which is fasting and praying. So the Day of Atonement is about afflicting your souls, and most importantly, trying to overcome the things that you're going to struggle with. You may be struggling with. All right. So I just want to throw that out there. If y'all read the title today, y'all understand that we are dealing with the book of Nehemiah. This is what we're going in right now, the book of Nehemiah. This is a part of our read along series. I give y'all the breakdown. The read along series is basically we go through the scriptures, we read together, we take notes together, we study together. And now the outcome is for us to pretty much say that we have went through the whole Bible together, and it's no excuse. That's something that you can tell somebody. You know what? I don't read the Bible from back to front, Genesis to Revelations. I mean front to back to front, Genesis to Revelations, Revelation to Genesis. I have made it through the scriptures. All right, but and you get through the scriptures, it's also important for you to take notes. That we do also stress when we are doing this read along series. I tell you to highlight certain things. I bring certain things out, and I tell you like you may want to highlight this. This can be a precept that can be precepted with another scripture. All right, so that's very important when we are doing the read along series. All right. So first, I want to give all honor and praise to the Most High Yahweh for allowing us to dwell on this earth which He have created through His Son, our Lord Yahweh Shai, and who He also have given us the mercy and grace through His Son, our Lord Yahweh Shai. So we want to always give honor and praises, all honor and praise to the Father firstly, because without the Father, we will not have nothing. I wouldn't be in this truth. You wouldn't be in this truth if it wasn't for the Father waking you up through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai. All right, His mercy and grace also. So we want to give all honor and praise for that. All right. As y'all can see, I'm trying to get like a different scenery going on, out here doing these read along series. Hopefully, this can be a thing that we continue to do down the line, so it can just not be that we just compact it into a house or just in a house. We want to be outside and bringing this thing from a comfortable environment. So with all that being said, I'm gonna try my best again to blow up this shofar, man. I haven't blown my shofar in a while, so when I blew it up on the memorial blowing the trumpet, I was struggling. I was struggling. I felt kind of bad, but wifey was like, "You got it, you got it." So I had it. So we're gonna attempt this again, man. It's important for all Israel out there, man. Make sure y'all have y'all to show for. These things right here signify our culture. Things like the menorah, the shofar, uh, every things like those things. They are symbolic of the things that we did. When it was time for war, we blew up the trumpet. When it was time for the announcement of feast days, we blew up the trumpet. When it was time for the feast of dedication, we lit the menorah. So these are all things you want to have in your possession that signifies our heritage, is our culture, man. So make sure y'all have y'all one of these. And also, you got to have one of these. You got to have the scriptures on that also. So take pride in our culture, take pride in our heritage. Don't be ashamed of it, and do it to the best of your ability. That's what it's all about. We are in the habit of rehearsing the righteous acts. Like it says in Judges, we rehearse these righteous acts. No, we're not perfect when we do them, but the Lord sees our progress. So just keep that in mind, man. So, but all that, let's blow up this trumpet. Gotta practice some more, y'all. I have to be on point with this. But with these things, man, you have to put your mouth a certain type of way to make sure it's just smooth and it blows out smoothly. So we're gonna get it right. It's a process. All right. So, like I said before, we're gonna be going into the book of Nehemiah. All right, the book of Nehemiah. Get y'all scriptures out, get your highlighters out. Make sure y'all are highlighting things. Make sure y'all are taking notes as we read along in the book of Nehemiah. All right, so we're gonna get straight into it. The book of Nehemiah. Let's go. All right. All right. This is the book of Nehemiah. All right. Before we also get into this, I want to say if y'all have any questions, y'all know that y'all are free to leave comments. If y'all want to join the live stream, just let me know. I'll post the link so that y'all can tune in also. All right. So make sure y'all just follow along, read along, and take notes. All right. So let's get straight into it, y'all. All right. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. And it came to pass in the month of Chislew, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and certain of men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem." Now, y'all can see now that this book is being narrated by Nehemiah himself. All right, because sometimes when you read these books, sometimes they'll be written in the first person. Sometimes they'll be written in the sense of, it may be somebody else writing the book. So the authors may not write in the way in the world, just simply in the first person all the time, like we're reading now what Nehemiah is doing. Okay? So let's jump back into verse 3. It says, "And they said unto him, The remnant that are left to the captivity there in the province are great in affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days, and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven, and said, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God, that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Now, we understand that the Lord has many titles. We've been bamboozled and tricked by the world that the Lord is always loving, he's always kind, he's always full of mercy. We've been tricked in the world to always believe that the Lord is just a nice God. But that's not what Nehemiah said right here in verse 5. What it was? Yeah, in verse 5. Let's read that again, because that's very important. It says, "Instead, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God." So, our true God, he's great and he's terrible. He's a great and terrible God. Why does Nehemiah say he's a great and terrible God? Because of the judgments that the Lord does when he's about to judge other nations, when he's judging us, he becomes a terrible God. The scripture says that when we broke the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord said he was going to be looking to do us hurt. That's not a God that's in a state of love. That's a God in a state of being terrible and bringing judgment, rightfully so. So we have to keep that in mind. When we do wickedness, understand that our God is not going to turn toward, he's not going to always be in the mindset of being loving and kind. He's going to get into that way of being terrible and full of anger and indignation towards us. All right, so let's highlight verse 5. We're going to highlight that. All right, verse 6. It says, "Let thine ear now be attentive, and thy eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned. We have dealt very corruptly." I don't know if y'all can hear this siren right here, but excuse the siren. We're going to let that pass. All right. So, verse 7, it says, "We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commandest thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, If ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though they were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power and by thy strong hand. O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayers of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name, and prosper. I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man, for I was the king's cupbearer. Now we understand the occupation that Nehemiah had when he was in the land of his captivity. He was the cupbearer of the king. All right. And that's also very important. Now, what Nehemiah said in verse, let's see, okay, we're going to read verse 11 again. It says, O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to thy prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants who desire to fear thy name and prosper. And that's very important, because you have to have a desire to fear the Lord when you asking the Lord to do something for you. One, Nehemiah got into the mindset of fasting and he was praying. Meaning that's why we say the importance of fasting and prayer is very important, because it shows the Lord that you're humbling yourself, you're afflicting your soul, and one, you're humbling yourself enough to want to the Lord to grant a request that you have. So the Lord has to see you in that state. That's why fasting and praying is very important. And you have to have the sincere to one desire to fear the Lord in order for the Lord to hear you and grant everything that you want the Lord to grant you. All right, so those things are very important. All right, so let's go on and jump into chapter 2. Now, like I said before, Nehemiah was the cupbearer of the king. That's why it's very important. When we in the land of our captivity, we have different occupations. You have some of our people who work in law enforcement. You have some of our people who work in, political. They take political positions in this captivity. So understand that we shouldn't shun our people for the position that they may work in the land of our captivity, because we can understand that the Lord can turn our enemy's heart to grant us any request that we may desire, as long as we fear Him. So just keep that in mind. Chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, Let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Then the king said unto me, For what for what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said unto the king, If it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. So you know how we were just talking about how to keep in mind what Nehemiah did. The king asked Nehemiah, What is thy request? Nehemiah didn't go about and just simply split out his request to the king. He prayed to the Lord first. Why? Because Nehemiah understand that he was in a position, he was standing in the position of a man who had power to deny his quest, deny his request, or to approve of his request. But ultimately, he understood that the Lord controls the minds of the kings. So he prayed to the Lord first. All right. So, all right, let's continue. All right, so we're going into verse 4. Then the king said unto me, For what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said to the king, If it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, For how long shall the journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, If it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come unto Judah, and a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace which appertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. That's very important because he recognized that the hand of the Lord was upon Nehemiah to go up to Jerusalem to build. So the Lord changed the heart of the king during that time, King Artaxerxes, to grant him that request to go up. All right. So let's continue to read. Verse 9. Then I came to the governors beyond the river and gave them the king's letters. And gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, and I and some few men with me, neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, into the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Then went I up in the night by the brook and viewed the wall, and turned back and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. Then I told them of the hand of my God, which was up. Then I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. Verse 19. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us and said, What is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them and said unto them, The God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. So Nehemiah put them in their place. The same is that way when we was reading the book of Ezra, and they tried to come up and alter the work that was being done, and they tried to join in the book of Ezra to do the work. They said Ezra told them, "This is y'all don't have no place in this work." The same is that thing that Nehemiah is telling them right now. You don't have no. Hello. you say you don't have. He said you don't have no right, no memorial, or no portion, excuse me, y'all, no portion in Jerusalem. Man, this is not your work. This is our work to rebuild our city. This is our work to rebuild our nation. The same exact stands that we hold right now to this day. When we're in the rebuilding phase, there's no way that you should be allowing the heathen to come and join amongst you and partake in the rebuilding process because that's not their portion. We destroyed it, we rebuild. It's a time and a place for everything. All right. So chapter 2, we understood that Nehemiah was trying to get leave from the king Artaxerxes to go back up to Jerusalem and to rebuild. All right, and Nehemiah prayed to the Lord, and through the Lord, he changed the mind of the king and allowed Nehemiah to go up to rebuild. All right, so that's pretty much the book in a nutshell. We understand also that the purpose of his purpose was that he was trying to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. He saw how desolate we was and how the wall was, and he wanted to pretty much give us that sense of being protected in Jerusalem again. That's why he said the other nations will laugh us to scorn, or allow us to be like what word he used. Uh, Let me find the word that he actually used. Yeah, he says they laughed us to scorn and despised us. So he understood that if we didn't rebuild and we didn't rebuild our desolate places, we'll be despised and we'll be laughed to scorn like the nations were doing before him right now. That's a weak point for us. If we don't have no protection, that shows a weakness. All right, so Nehemiah wanted to get rid of that weakness. All right, chapter 3, verse 1. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, Then Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brethren the priests, and they builded the sheep gate. They sanctified it and set up the doors of it, even unto the tower of Meah. They sanctified it unto the tower of Hananiel. And next unto him builded the men of Jericho. And next to them builded Zakur, the son of Imri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hassaniah build. Also laid the beams thereof and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Meremoth, the son of Uriah, the son of Koz. And next unto them repaired Mishallam, the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabiel, the son of Meshezabiel. And next unto them repaired Zadok, the son of Baanah. And next unto them the Tekoites repaired. But their nobles put not their necks to the work of their Lord. Moreover, the old gate repaired Jehoiada, the son of Pasadai, Pasaiah, Pasaiah, and Meshullam, the son of Besodiah. They laid the beams thereof and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Meltiah the Gibeonite, and Jadon the Meronothite, the men of Gibeon and Mizpah, unto the throne of the governor on this side of the river. All right. Verse 8. Next unto him repaired Uzziel, the son of Harhiah of the goldsmiths. Next unto him also repaired Hananiah the son of one of the apothecaries, and they fortified Jerusalem unto the broad wall. And next unto them repaired Rephaiah the son of Hur, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem. Verse 10. And next unto them repaired Jediah the son of Heramoth, even over against his house, even over against his house. And next unto him repaired Hattush the son of Hashabaniah, Micaiah the son of Haram, and Hashub the son of Pahath Moab repaired the other piece, and the tower of the furnaces. And next unto him repaired Shalom the son of Halahesh, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem, he and his daughters. Verse 13. The valley gate repaired Hanan and the inhabitants of Zanoah. They built it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, and 1,000 cubits on the wall unto the Dawn gate. But the Dawn gate repaired Micaiah the son of Rechab, the ruler of part of Beth Hasarim. He built it. He built it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. Verse 15. But the gate of the fountain repaired Shalom the son of Kalhazeh, the ruler of part of Mizpah. He built it and covered it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, and the wall of the pool of Siloah by the king's garden, and unto the stairs that go down from the city of David. Verse 16. And after him repaired Nehemiah the son of Asbuk, the ruler of the half part of Bethzer, unto the place over against the sepulchres of David, unto the pool that was made, and unto the house of the mighty. After him repaired, okay, let me scratch. All right, verse 16. After him repaired Nehemiah the son of Asbuk, the ruler of the half part of Bethzer, unto the place over against the sepulchres of David, and to the pool that was made, and unto the house of the mighty. After him repaired the Levites, Raham the son of Bani. Next unto him repaired Hashabiah, the ruler of the half part of Keilah, in his part. After him repaired their brethren, Bavai, the son of Henadad, the ruler of the half part of Keilah. And next to him repaired Ezer, the son of Jeshua, the ruler of Mizpah, another piece over against the going up to the armory at the turning of the wall. So you see, everybody is putting in work. They're getting the work done. It's all we're reading. They're putting their piece, and everybody's joining together to build a wall. So, and also it shows you that everybody was structured off into sections. So that's pretty much what we're seeing. Verse 20. After him, Baruch the son of Zabbai earnestly repaired the other piece from the turning of the wall unto the door of the house of Eliashib the high priest. Now, I always highlight verse 20 right here in the book of Nehemiah because the name Baruch is here. Now, we have to draw the correlation when we read in the Apocrypha. It's just the same Baruch that is mentioned in the Apocrypha that's being mentioned right here in the book of Nehemiah. All right, so we're just going to highlight that for future references. We're going to highlight that for future reference. We're going to highlight verse 20 for the name of Baruch. All right. All right. Verse 21. It says, after him repaired Meremoth the son of Urijah, the son of Koz, another piece from the door of the house of Eliashib even to the end of the house of Eliashib. And after him repaired the priests, the men of the plain. After him repaired Benjamin and Hashub over against their house. After him repaired Azariah the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ananiah by his house. After him repaired Benui, the son of Henadad, another piece from the house of Azariah unto the turning of the wall, even unto the corner. Palah, the son of Uzai, over against the turning of the wall, and the tower which lieth out from the king's house, out of the king's high house, that was by the court of the prison. After him, Pedaiah, the son of Parosh. Moreover, the Nethinims dwelt in Ophel unto the place over against the water gate toward the east, and the tower that lieth out. After them, the Tekoites repaired another piece over against the great tower that lieth out, even unto the wall of Ophel. All right, verse 28. From above, the horse gate repaired the priests, every one over against his house. After them repaired Zadok, the son of Immer, over against his house. After him repaired also Shemaiah, the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate. After him repaired Hananiah, the son of Shelemiah, and Hanan, the sixth son of Zalaph, another piece. It's a helicopter. Uh, we're at verse 30. Let's start back at 30. After him repaired Hananiah the son of Shelemiah, and Hanan the sixth son of Zalaph, another piece. After him repaired Meshullam the son of Berechiah, over against his chamber. After him repaired Melchiah the goldsmith's son unto the place of the Nethinims and of the merchants, over against the gate Mifkad, and to the going up of the corner. And between the going up of the corner unto the sheep's gate repaired the goldsmiths and the merchants. All right, so we're reading right here in chapter 3 how everybody's just simply putting their brick in, and everybody's collectively getting the work done to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem back up. All right, so we're going to go into chapter 4. All right, this is a crazy posture. My back is killing me. Sit back for a minute. Oh, yeah, I had to stretch, y'all. Give me a minute. Sit in the awkward position. Oh, it's all right. All right, y'all. Let's get back into it. Chapter 4, you have me clear on Chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria. Okay, let's read verse 2 again. It says, let's read verse 1 again, because I think I'm going to highlight something in this. It says, But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? That's very important, because now you see that the Samaritans, they pretty much are the northern kingdom. You got the Samaritans dwelling with Sanballat, and he's speaking amongst them. So you want to highlight it to show you that the Jews and the Samaritans, meaning the northern kingdom, they was not on the same. They was not seeing eye to eye during this time. That's why when you get into the one, you got to understand the history, how the split happened in the beginning during the time of the kings between Jeroboam and Rehoboam. But you're going to also understand now that when it referenced the Jews, it's also just simply talking about the southern kingdom. When we get into the new covenant, you're going to always hear about how the Jews not keeping company with the other nations. When you get to John 4, when it's dealing with the Samaritan woman, that's going to be brought out also. You know, it's not pretty much a good thing for the Samaritan to keep company with the Jews. Why? Because it was a history there. It was a split there. You know, we wasn't seeing eye to eye during this time. You had a lot of the northern kingdom and the Samaritans joining themselves with the heathen to fight against Jerusalem and pretty much the Jews. All right, so we was pretty much enemies in a sense. We wasn't seeing eye to eye, even though we were brethren. All right, so let's highlight that. We're going to highlight Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. All right, so let's read verse 2 again. All right, let me finish highlighting this and we're going to read verse 2 again. All right, this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 2. It says, "And he spake before his brethren in the army of Samaria and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned?" Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by them, and he said, Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. He's saying, like, even if they did build, it's not gonna pretty much be of strength. It's not gonna have no type of how can I say, value, or no type of structure or no type of might to what they build. If he said that a fox can go down and it's gonna pretty much he says, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. He's saying even the things that they was building during that time, it was not going to be mighty, or it was not going to be a great possession that it can even just protect them from the smallest things. That's why we have reference in the book of Ezra when the forefathers and the elders had saw the house of God, they pretty much mourned because it didn't have that same type of glory that it had the first time. I mean, it had might, it had glory, it had strength. People thought twice before coming in and try to take over Jerusalem during that time because it was so mighty, and things was pretty much glorious. All right, verse 4. It says, Hear, hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity, and cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. Let me change my posture. Man, listen. Give me a minute, y'all. Let me change my posture and get comfortable while I'm reading this. All right. Give me a minute. All right. Let's read like that. All right. Verse 6. Let's read verse 6 again. It says, So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the wall of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth, and conspired all them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God, and set a watch against them that day. I'm sorry, and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And Judah said, The strength of the bearers of the burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversary said, They shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst amongst them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, From all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore sit I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows, because they was trying to protect the work. All the nations and the heathen, they saw that the progress was being made when we was building the wall of Jerusalem up through Nehemiah, and that simple progress, they was a threat to them. One, remember when we was reading the book of Ezra, they said that if we built back up the house of the Lord, and if we rebuilt it again, they was afraid that we was going to take over, and we was not going to be keeping laws and customs that the heathen was giving us no more. It was understood that we would be back in power. So either way that they can hinder us from doing that work, they did it because they didn't want to be in servitude, or they didn't want us to gain any type of power. And we got to bring that up to the day, bring that up to today. As long as the other nations see that we are comfortable with being in servitude and not trying to push the effort to come back as a nation and be on one accord, they are not going to take us serious. Or if they did take us serious, they're going to do everything in their power to stop that progress. Meaning they're going to infiltrate, they're going to turn some of our brothers and sisters' mind against each other. They're going to shun the truth. They're going to make it seem like what we're doing is not the truth at all. It's just a cult. It's just cult practices, and what we're doing is going to fail. That's what they'll make it seem like. Oh, we just hate everybody out here. That's what the other nations will push the narrative to make you believe as Hebrew Israelite, that we just hate everybody. The things that we believe in is not true. We're not the children of the Most High God, and the things that we're doing is just simply pointless. So you got to keep that in mind. The heathen will go the lengths to make sure that we don't progress. The only way that we can overcome that is we take this thing serious. All right. So let's get back into it. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse uh 14. it says, and I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, and your wives and your houses. And it came to pass, when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work. And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both their spears, the shields, and the bows, and the habergeons, and the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. They which build it on the wall, and they that bear burdens, with those that laid it, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. So you got to imagine that, man. We were so cautious about building the wall of the Lord and building Jerusalem back up, that we had a weapon in our hand and we was working with the other. Because it was that serious about us getting this work done. We was willing to die about this work, and we also had our mind focused on the work. So you got to imagine that. All right. Verse of 18. For the builders, every one had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, our God shall fight for us. So we labor in the work, and half of them held their spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. So we was working morning into night, morning to night. Verse 22. It says, likewise at the same time said I unto the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us, and labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor, I'm sorry, let me read that again. Verse 23. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that every one put them off for washing. All right. So they was focused on the work, man. You gotta imagine that we being in threat by the other nations. They're threatening us to come in and destroy the work that we're putting in, and threatening to pretty much go to war with us simply because we're trying to progress and take the laws of the Lord serious. And Nehemiah and Ezra and all our brethren that was around that time, they understood that, man, if we wasn't keeping these laws, we was gonna be back into the same exact situation. That's why when Ezra, during the time of Ezra, when you had those men, and most of our leaders also go and start marrying the strange wives and stuff, Ezra rent his clothes. They're like, dang, we just came out of the land of all captivity, and y'all trying to allow the Lord to get right back angry with us and bring us right back into what we was coming out of. So We was very serious. The people who was rebuilding Jerusalem back up, they was very serious about keeping the laws of the Lord, man. Because once we go off and we go into the lands of our captivity, we tend to forget who we are. That always it's always what happens. We forget our cultures, we forget where we come from, we forget our language, we forget the laws of the Most High God, and we become Gentiles. We become heathen. That to the point when it's trying for us to return back to the laws of the Most High God is a very tough process because one, we're trying to relearn things while trying to rebuild also. So that's a tough process, and a lot of people is not built for that. All right, so man, yeah, it's crazy. All right. Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 1, and there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren the Jews. For there were that said, we our sons and our daughters are many, therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, our vineyards and houses, that we may buy corn, that we might buy corn because of the dearth. There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our children as their children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought into bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards. And I was very angry when I heard their cry in these words. Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, Ye exact usury every one of his brother. And I set a great assembly against them. See, now we breaking another law. You don't supposed to exact usury from your brethren or your brethren or your sisters in this truth, meaning taxing them or charging them more than what they already are worth. You don't supposed to do that. That's breaking the law. We can do that to the heathen, meaning attach the heathen, but when it comes to us and dealing with our own people, we supposed to deal fairly and righteously. So that's what Nehemiah is pretty much judging the nobles all people for, because they was trying to exact usury from our people. One, and it caused them to lack certain stuff. They was putting themselves in debt. They were selling off their lands. They were selling off their vineyards, everything, man, simply because they was trying to provide for their family. But if you have all your own people exacting usury from you, you tend to go into the mindset of being poor and you become poor. All right, so that's a law that we was breaking. All right, verse 8. And I said unto them, we after our ability have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. And will you even sell your brethren? And shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace and found nothing to answer. And found nothing to answer. Verse 9. Also I said, it is not good that ye do. It is also I said, it is not good that ye do. Are ye not to walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies? I likewise, and my brethren and my servants might exact of them money and corn. I pray you, let us leave off this usury. Restore, I pray you, to them even this day their lands, their vineyards, their olive yards, and their houses, also the hundredth part of the money, and of the corn, the wine, and the oil, that ye exact of them. Then said they, we will restore them, and will require nothing of them. So will we do as thou sayest. Then I called the priests and took an oath of them, that they should do according to this promise. You see, you got to understand, man, it was the priests. Meaning, like, that's why when you get into the new covenant, you got the Levitical priesthood, meaning all people that was like the scribes and the Sadducees, or simply the people that was in positions of power. Meaning the scribes and the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes. They was in positions of power, man, that when they was be collecting from our people, they held that position. They had that authority that all of our people resorted to, one, to get a thing that was needful for them, and to also hit a law from them. So they was simply just keeping the law, but simply in the law, it simply says do not usurer amongst your people. So they was taking advantage of our people. So we got to keep that in mind. Like the Levites, they had a lot of power within and a lot of power within Israel because most of the stuff, all our gain, we gave it to them. 10%, the tithes, the things that was dedicated to the Lord, those things went to the Levitical priesthood. So they had a sense of power when it came from collecting, when it came towards collecting things from Israel. All right. So we had to be cautious of the usury that they was doing to the children of Israel. All right. Verse 12. No, hold on. Let's read verse 12 again. It says, Then said they, We will restore them and will require nothing of them. So will we do as thou sayest. Then I called the priests and took an oath of them that they should do according to this promise. Also I shook my lap and said, So God shake out every man from his house and from his labor that performed not this promise. Even thus be he shaken out and emptied. And all the congregation said, Amen, and praised the Lord. And the people did according to this promise. Moreover, from the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th year even unto the 32nd year of Artaxerxes the king, that is 12 years, I and my brethren have not eaten the bread of the governor. But the former governors that had been before me were chargeable unto the people, and had taken of them bread and wine, beside 40 shekels of silver. Yea, even their servants bare rule over the people, but so did not I, because of the fear of God. Yea, also I continue in the work of this wall, neither bought we any land, and all my servants were gathered thither unto the work. Moreover, there were at my table 150 of the Jews and rulers, beside those that came unto us from among the heathen that are about us. Now that which was prepared for me daily was one ox and 6 choice sheep. Also fowls were prepared for me, and once in 10 days store of all sorts of wine. Yet for all this required not I the bread of the governor, because the bondage was heavy upon this people. Think upon me, my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people. It's very important, man, because you gotta understand that Nehemiah is pretty much saying that he took the office as a governor. So it was certain things that rightfully so, the people gave to governors. They had a collect amount that the people gave to them. They had a charge, everything that the people gathered together, and he had like a fee that he was simply gave because he was the governor. But Nehemiah had the mindset of that he was not going to be greedy as the governor. He wasn't going to pretty much take everything that was deemed for the office as a governor to have. He didn't take that upon him. So he pretty much took the things that he listed right here, which was a very few. It was few. He didn't take advantage of the children of Israel or our people or his people because he understood that the bondage that we was in. We was in the rebuilding phase. Now, that's very important for our people also in today's time. Of course, the time is totally different from that time also because of one technology and everything else. We're in a whole different type of time period, and resources get can be had many different types of ways. But it's very important, man, when you get into a position of power, do not take advantage of the Lord's people, because one, it's not the time for that. We're in a rebuilding phase. So if you're in a position of power, man, try to be content with the things that you do have. Also, you can receive things that the people do give you, but also don't try to be greedy. Don't try to take advantage of all people. When you see all people that have the kindness in their heart to want to give to you, okay, take it, but don't be greedy. Don't try to expect more things than you ought to have. Be content. All right. So that's where we're going to stop at today. That's where we're going to stop at in chapter 6, and we're going to chapter 5, and we're going to pick up in chapter 6 in the book of Nehemiah. I hope y'all enjoyed this read along series. I hope everything flows smoothly. We're going to continue in this read along series. Continue to bring out certain precepts. Continue to mention certain things that pertain to our studies when it comes to this read along series. The only thing that y'all have to do is tune in and continue to tune in. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say my name is Officer Iveson. I hope y'all enjoyed this read along series. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom. See y'all next time.